Ngeba Sojola here. It's always been said that all blockchains are distributed ledger technologies, but not all distributed ledger technologies are blockchains. In this particular video, we'll be looking at a distributed ledger technologies that deploys a consensus mechanism known as a unique node list, basically used by the XRP ledger. Now, a node in this case is a peer-to-peer independent computer or data center or server, right, that confirms and processes transactions, right? It also maintains the shared state of the ledger, right? Now, if you want to, let's say, participate in the ledger or access some data on the ledger or somehow maybe submit some transaction on the ledger, right? Your application is basically connected with the closest node, right? So that it can be processed, confirmed, and be made part of the ledger, right? So there are three types of node which exist within this unique node list consensus mechanism. The first node is known as a stock node. The second node is known as a validator node. And the third node is known as a hub node, right? Now, the stock node, now, if the XRP ledger was a country, right? The stock nodes would be likened to citizens, right? That actually partake in elections and choose their representatives, right? Now, on these nodes, basically can be a development platform for programmers, coders, and developers, right, to produce applications, right? Now, number two, you have validator nodes. These validator nodes are, if you if the XRP ledger was a country, are basically the elected officials, right? The elected officials with limited role, right? And basically limited power, right? Now, validator nodes are the nodes which basically come to an agreement about transactions. They basically come to consensus, right? About confirming transactions, the state of the ledger, and basically the state of the ledger, and basically making sure and loading the data on the ledger, right? Now, a node can be anything or anyone, right? It can be individuals, right? It can be households, right? It can be schools, it can be universities, it can be corporations, it can be businesses, it can be spazas, restaurants, right? It can be hospitals, can be clinics, can be private medical practitioners, right? It can be, what else? Can be exchanges or wallet providers, right? So it can be anybody can host a node. Anybody can be a stock node. Anybody can be a validator node. Yes, and I missed the hub node. Now, the hub node is a node which basically relays information to other nodes, right? Now, the hub node basically is the paparazzi or the journalists or the media of the nodes. Its job is basically to relay information. It's basically a news feed, right? Yes, and it can also be part of the list that I mentioned before. Hospitals, can be businesses, can be schools, it can be whatever, it can be crutches, it can be libraries, it can be government institutions. Anybody can host a node, right? Now, A unique node list is basically a list that is produced by each node, right, of validators, right? So each node produces a list of validators, right, depending on the type of information the validators has provided, right? So how this thing works is basically each node provides a recommendation guide or a recommendation list of nodes, and you can actually check the the unique node list of the best validators of transactions and actually choose them to be your governing officials or your elected officials, right? So how this new unique node list works is that it works with collective trust. Not one computer can basically confirm. So a group of computers or nodes or data or server centers can basically act as nodes and create this list, right? Thank you for the opportunity. I'll see you in the next video.